Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next podcast. It's Heart Intelligence and Metaphysics, a conversation with Britta Simon. Britta, how are you?
Oh, thank you, Tim. And thank you much for the invitation. I was looking so much forward to our little talk today, and also big hello and a big heart to all the viewers today.
Thank you so much. So, Britta, can you share your journey into the field of heart intelligence and metaphysics and how it led to your current work? Also, how do you define metaphysics? Why is it important in today's world? And how can individuals reach higher levels of consciousness through your teachings?
Thank you so much for the questions, Tim. Sounds probably very scientific, and these are big words, heart intelligence, metaphysics. I try to put it somehow in a nutshell by probably referring to simple everyday examples. My journey into the whole thing, first of all, the heart intelligence started about 6 years ago. And it's certainly not that I was sitting at home and thought, my life is boring. Let's find something to do. No, it was not like this at all. Actually, a really challenging time in my life. Call it life crisis, as we sometimes have. I was stressed, maybe a bit burnout. And first of all, I tried to be successful professionally. I tried my own thing, and I tried for maybe 1 year, 2 years, and nothing would work out. One failure after another. And at some point I said, stop. I have to go to the bottom to that. There's probably something, it's probably my fault. There are some skills probably I'm lacking and so forth. So I went on to a self-development journey, as many of us do. And I realized, Tim, was I have to calm down.
Hmm.
I have to become quiet. I have to look after my stress. And then you go and search on YouTube University, as we do. And I tried a few meditation techniques, started meditating. So I was doing this, and I tried many different stuffs to improve myself. And at some point I came across a meditation that was focusing on the heart and on the breathing. So I tried this, and I thought, okay, let's try everything I can come across. So I tried this meditation one time, two times, and I liked it. And somehow this meditation was different from any other calming down techniques I was trying. It was some kind of a revelation. That was probably my first encounter with heart intelligence, because after the meditation, sometimes, it really felt good and it really felt different. It was something, like a big weight was lifted off my shoulders. And at some point, sometimes I was getting up from the meditation and I felt like bathing in champagne, if you know
Mhm.
what I mean. Yeah, so it felt really good. And what makes you feel good, of course, you continue doing that. So those days I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing it. Yeah. But now in hindsight, I can honestly say it was my first encounter with heart coherence. This is a state where your heart and your whole system, your whole body is in an optimum state. And this is when you shift from stress that's mostly running in the background, you shift into calm, into balance, into coherence. And this is a very special experience for your body, because you regenerate and you calm down naturally from own resources. And this was the first encounter with heart intelligence in form of a coherent heart. But even more interesting, while I was doing the meditation, somehow it opened doors for me to find out where to go and what's wrong with me. So it led me to a point where I realized my problem was really it is commonly known as PTSD,
Right.
post-traumatic stress disorder. some tragedies in the family. So a while, but at some point I had a big awakening and found out that I was suffering from this condition. So this was very interesting because when you shift your heart into this coherent state, it's over as your internal guidance system. And this is so interesting. And this is what we call intuition. And this is where we have automatically a little like an inner navigation system that leads you to answers and to solutions. And from that moment, I could really heal and I got a lot of answers. And this was something very, it changed my life. And at some point I said, okay, this is so beautiful, these techniques, let's see what's behind it. And I found the HeartMath Institute, who has been researching the heart and heart intelligence and coherence for the past more than 30 years. And this is where I got trained as a personal resilience coach and mentor. We base our work on heart coherence, basically. And it was just a new beginning for me as well. Now, this came a bit later. This came about 2 years ago. And again, didn't know what I was looking for, what I was doing. I just thought, somehow there must be more to it. Now I know about the heart and how certain functions in the human body work. But there must be more. There was an inner calling to go further down the road. What is there? How does the universe work? How does the human body work? How can I help my clients better? And at the end of the day, the two a field which later I found out is called metaphysics.
Right,
Now,
yeah.
metaphysics is when you Google metaphysics. Have you ever heard, or did you ever get into metaphysics at some point, or not at all?
Personally, not, but
Yes.
it's definitely an interesting subject area.
Yeah, I mean, you probably wouldn't, and I didn't know that I was going into metaphysics. Well, when you Google metaphysics, Tim, you probably find an information that was initially created, the name metaphysics, by the ancient Greeks, the ancient
Hmm.
Greek philosophers. Usually it's also called a philosophy, but I personally think metaphysics is much more than that. And I believe those days, the ancient Greek philosophers, they were trying to find out how the universe works, how the human mind works, how the human body works. And
Yes.
the first thing they found out is, and I don't know who said it, they said, I know that I know nothing.
Mm.
Probably you heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were trying to kind of find answers on how everything works. And they realized that there is much more to it because they couldn't explain a few things with our five senses as we do. I mean, we know physics, the
Sure.
Newton laws, and probably a bit of quantum physics, but they thought there must be more to it. They also knew that probably our purpose here on earth is to know yourself. This is the Greek word gnosis, after know thyself.
Mm.
Yeah, it has much more to do with what is commonly known in our understanding of physics. Now, the word meta is a Greek word, and meta means after or beyond. So, metaphysics is looking beyond probably beyond what is probably commonly known or what is known in the mainstream on how to explain a few things in the universe and also what the human mind concerns. And personally, going into metaphysics, it opens a whole new gateway to possibilities on how to work with my clients, on how to find answers, on how to probably go to the bottom of whatever challenge they are going through. So, for example, if a client comes to me maybe with an issue like procrastination, or they say, I'm always giving, I'm not visible, the so-called hider syndrome, I want to improve myself, and what can I do in order to get rid of a certain habit, for example, or maybe there is a problem in the family. There is probably a problem in the family cycle where the same issues arise again and again and again for over generations. Yeah, or maybe there is a client who has difficulties to come to terms with a loss of a loved one. In this case, I can actually offer them a broader view on maybe where this problem is coming from and maybe how they can approach it for with this somehow an improved way, and how to come to terms with this. Yeah, so this is also a very practical way to offer clients a bit more than maybe the conventional psychology or science is offering. And the thing is, Tim, I offer this kind of idea. Maybe your problem is coming from so and so. Usually the clients are ready for that. They say, I always thought about this. Maybe there is more to it. Maybe it happens because of. So it opens, basically, the metaphysical approach opens a whole new gateway on how to look at things, and that there is more than we can perceive. And that's the beauty of it, basically. And also when it comes to consciousness, philosopher said, we know that we know nothing. When you go on this exploration, you rise your consciousness, you open your horizon. And I mean, you are one of those who is constantly learning as well. Yeah, probably we are on a beautiful road to understand more how the universe works, to understand ourselves better, to find new ways of exploring things for our own benefit and also for the benefit of others. So this is what I would try to put in a nutshell.
Thank you. So, how does your work with the HeartMath Institute influence your coaching and mentoring practices?
Techniques, which are basically the heart coherence techniques, how I started with those days, they build a very solid foundation for my work. Yeah, because ask people, would you try to climb Mount Everest in a swimsuit? From when I meet people and they are overwhelmed by it doesn't matter if it's health or communication or relationships or whatever. Most of the times it causes a lot of stress. So people are sometimes a bit stressed out, and they are really depleted by resources. Yeah, and as it can be as simple as not having a good night's sleep, for example. Okay, I said, okay, you have maybe 1,000,002 problems. Let's put them aside and let's build a foundation. Let's get the equipment here, a solid equipment. And this is when we build, when we apply the HeartMath techniques, very simple breathing techniques. They shift the body, as I say, from being stressed in a state of calm, of coherence, of ease, and the body basically regenerates, and it also refills the energy reservoir. Yeah, so you can think clearer, you have more power and more energy during the day. And this is what we call personal resilience. This is like an energy reservoir, like a battery. Yeah, because all the batteries are down. Basically, there is no energy left, and this is in a very fast manner. It refills, recharges the battery, and when you have a recharged battery, when you have energy, and when you can think clearer and you feel better, maybe Mount Everest is just becoming a walk in the park. Yeah, so it's always what I definitely start to apply the HeartMath techniques and build a solid foundation of personal resilience. And this is very fast. The body responds to it very fast. It's within a month or two, people can live a completely different life. And then we can go to, the to anything else that probably needs looking into and needs to be resolved.
Okay. So, what are some of the key techniques you teach for building personal resilience?
At the HeartMath Institute, we have one technique which is so-called our working horse, which is the quick coherence technique, and it's ever so simple. And probably I always invite people at the conferences to join me in a quick coherence technique. You probably remember with the last conference. So this is very easy. You focus your attention at the center of your chest. You imagine your breath is flowing in and out your heart and chest area. You make sure that in breath and out breath are probably equally long. And you put a little bit of an extra little kind of flower on the top, so to speak. To the best of your abilities, you activate a regenerative feeling like ease, joy, or compassion, gratitude. There's always something we can be grateful for. And that's basically it. And this shifts the body immediately into a coherent state. You can feel it. Yeah, this is something you can feel. And so builds a really solid foundation in order to remove stress sustainably and to probably bring your body back into the state where it functions best, so to speak.
How do stress and well-being assessments help in crafting personalized coaching plans? What inspired the creation of the HeartMath Stress and Well-being Assessment, and how does it work in conjunction with your courses?
Well-being assessment we use, it is a big eye-opener. Yeah, it has been developed by the HeartMath Institute years ago, and it's a fully normed and validated assessment, which they originally created for a stress and well-being health risk assessment in a big hospital in the US. And being so efficient and so successful that at some point HeartMath created a training course for professionals. And I went to this training course online last September or so. And it has really been it has really become a big asset for my work, because when you try to work with a client and try to solve problems, you to know where people are, where the problems are, maybe not superficially, maybe deep down in their memory bank, also where the problems are. And also people, they want to know what's wrong with me. Like in my case those days, I wanted to know what's wrong. So this well-being assessment, it works very simple. It's a questionnaire, an online questionnaire. You get a link for it and you go through probably 25 questions concerning several parts of your life, several areas of your life. So, and then you answer all these questions, you send it back to me, and I get the results. And then I usually meet with a person for a really deep analysis session. And this is where it gets really exciting, because this opens up, it's really an eye opener. And it's really a deep diagnosis without being medical here. Yeah, it has nothing to do with any medical diagnosis. So I make sure that everything is fine, no drama. I have a zero drama policy. Yeah, but this is a really beautiful way to find out, this is the problem. And maybe your stress or your little triggers, maybe they are coming from this and this source. And usually people, they are really surprised what they find out about themselves. And sometimes I ask, could it be that your trigger maybe is coming from this and this event? And there is a big aha moment. Sometimes I just ask, how would you explain this result? And usually people know exactly, oh my God, yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, and based on the results and on the deep insight, what is going on with the person, to create a bespoke training plan, starting with coherence techniques, and then probably adding on some other tools for grounding and really good, simple, intelligent tools people can work with. So it's a big eye opener. And I hope those days, 6 years ago, I was bumping around for, I think, half a year to find out what was wrong with me. And now you can, with this assessment, you can get to the bottom of your issues within a day, the same day, basically. So
Cool.
very, very helpful and easily done, and very successful.
Okay, thank you. So, how do you address generational and displacement trauma in your coaching sessions? How do you integrate HeartMath techniques into your daily life and coaching practice? And can you share a success story from your coaching sessions that highlight the transformation of a client?
Generational trauma and also displacement trauma, or I would also add on childhood trauma, they are more common than we think they are. Yeah, it's now that people are more interested to find out more about themselves, and they are probably not happy anymore with one or two areas of their life. And the good thing is that they are now ready to find out, not to cope with it for the rest of your life and trying to bump around. They are now ready to say, no, there's something I want to do. There's something I need to do to probably improve my life or to be successful in this and that area. And this is where we sometimes go to to get to the bottom of what is really going on deep in their system, to speak. Generational trauma, for example. I mean, we carry so much stuff in our memory bank we are born with. For example, I mean, sometimes we inherit the eyes of our grandmother or the talent of grandfather or father or forefathers. And this can also happen, Tim, with experiences they had. And previously, in the last century, especially in Germany, people were going through war all the time, and through they had to run for their life, basically, and they everything. Also in my family, my grandmother was talking a lot about it, and this a lot of trauma. And of course, this can also be passed on. Everything is energy. Yeah, and this can be passed on to next generations as well. And I believe when it comes to generational trauma, which is quite common, our generation, or my generation, are kind of cycle breakers. And this is what I sometimes offer also to people. Maybe you are the cycle breaker in your family. And some they say, yes, it's time to put an end to that, to put an end into, passing on the trauma from generation to generation. And very beautiful when people find this out. And once you know, okay, it has to do with generational trauma, there is something you can do about it. I mean, trauma, as I said, it's always sounds dramatic, but it's easily care of trauma quite easily with the HeartMath techniques, for example. This is always start, and with different approach to see things differently. And it's probably similar to displacement trauma, which is also very common. I mean, okay, we have a refugee issue worldwide here, and all those children fleeing from war, from places of conflict. Of course, I mean, this is quite what also worries me a bit, that all these people are exposed to displacement trauma. But it can happen to any of us. And you travel a lot, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah.
Have you ever been homesick, for example?
Yes, all the time.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're homesick, this is probably a small sign or a very clear sign of a little displacement trauma running in the background, because home is home. Home is the place where we feel safe, where we feel nurtured. And when we move into another country, may it be for sometimes just for holidays or for our education or for business and so forth. We love to do that, but our body is, or our system is very intelligent and it always wants to keep us safe. So when we leave common ground and go somewhere we don't place, immediately there's a little alert, a little alarm lamp going on. Am I safe here? Which is a very clever thing to do. But we are so stressed that we do not have enough resources left. So again, this can then trigger little stress reactions running in the background with probably no drama, but who wants to have a little energy vampire running in the background? Yeah, illusion is building your resilience and applying grounding techniques so you do feel safe. So you give your body the message, no, everything's fine. I'm safe here. I'm enjoying my time. I'm enjoying life. And this is how we can address very easily those issues. Example, yeah, I had a client where he was traveling a lot from A to B around the world, like many. And this is where we detected a little displacement trauma. And he thought, I never thought of this. And now that you say it, okay, it might be true. Yeah, sometimes I am homesick.
Mm.
One example. And of course, here in where I work, many people here in Germany are really kind of there is some kind of worthiness going around. They do not feel worthy, especially women. So I have a friend, she's a client as well. She was absolutely stressed out. She couldn't go to work anymore. She felt useless, worthless. And 2 years ago, we started working on her case. And after 2 years now, she has absolutely improved herself. She is now a licensed yoga teacher. She recently went for a job in the local university to work with disabled children. And for her, it was a really massive transformation. And she is ever so happy that she could now find her strength back and improve herself and get out of many things she was actually facing on a daily basis.
Ah, thank you there. So can you describe the process and benefits of a human well-being upgrade? How do your courses help individuals activate unimaginable human skills and capacities as mentioned on your...
Yeah, this is a beautiful question. And this is one of my favorite subjects, Tim, because actually what maybe not all of us are aware of, that planet Earth and humanity, we are in for a treat. At the end of a cycle with a lot of conflict, with a lot of, let's say, fear-based energy, we are now going into a cycle of well-being. I don't know if you sometimes probably heard about the sun flares, the sun activity. It's been on for quite some time now. The Schumann resonance is going up. So we are experiencing a high influx of high energy light from the sun, and it affects our planet Earth and also affects, of course, the human body. Now, probably not many of us are aware of, we are still wired, our system, our genetic print is wired on survival. This is probably sometimes when you hear people saying, we are still functioning like in Stone Age. Have you ever heard about it?
Yes.
With the fight and flight and so forth. So that never made sense to me. I think, Stone Age is long gone. Why everything is evolving and everything is transforming. why is the human body still functioning like in Stone Age? It doesn't make any sense. So the answer is we are wired. We are wired on survival. It's changing now. This with the new energies and with all the new things coming in and also the awakening process of people, now we can actually consciously change from or shift or transform ourselves from the information of bare survival, fear-based, just looking at our physical safety, into true well-being. True well-being is new to most of us. And this is now available, and this is now what more and more people are waking up to. And this is also one reason why there is so much disruption. Call it chaos, I call it disruption in the world right now. Yeah, it's not easy, most certainly. And it will still take a while, but I'm looking at this very with a lot of excitement. It's a very positive development for planet Earth and also for the humans to become aware and to become conscious of their capabilities. For example, we are able not only to shift into well-being, to leave the stress behind, to raise our vibration. Yeah, because now the era we are going into, we cannot take our baggage with us, our generational baggage or the baggage we are loading on our shoulders daily, on a daily basis sometimes. We cannot take this with us. So we can get rid of all these things now in a very convenient way. It's very simple. It's not always easy, but we can change now with beautiful techniques which are now available. We can change our blueprint. We can actually consciously plant new information in our memory bank. We can get rid of our stress, of our traumas. We can actually, I have a technique where you literally stop aging, for example. Yeah, something very beautiful. It doesn't mean we will live forever. I mean, who wants to be Methusalem? Yeah, but you can expand your lifespan and you can basically live healthy, happily, and with a high life quality and consciously create whatever you want. Because people talk about the law of attraction. And the law, it you radiate, you get. And sometimes you get things you probably didn't ask for. Yeah, and also look into these things. What am I attracting? And if there's something I do not attract, now we have the possibilities to actually change the information. Also, I'm emanating from my energy field and to consciously create whatever I want. And that's quite a beautiful thing to do, to actually and on demand whatever makes us happy, to put ourselves into healing, into region, also communicating with compassion, with appreciation, and sometimes also consciously telepathy. Yeah, sometimes that happens randomly for now. Sometimes about a person we haven't seen for years. The next day we meet him in the grocery store. Or you think about your mom, you need to call your mom, the next minute mom calls. Yeah, something that happens randomly, but we actually can train ourselves to do this consciously, to communicate, not only verbally, also to then send out thoughts and emotions for our loved ones and so forth.
Thank you. So, what insights did you share at the AIMS conference in Dubai, and how were they?
It was such a pleasure also to meet you at the AIMS conference. And at this point, probably we want to say a big hello to Dr. Al-Sayhati, to Dr. Hala, all those beautiful people who make this conference possible in hard work.
Sure.
And it's always good to be there and to absorb the energy and to feel or meet new people and to feel the connection between people. I was lucky enough to attend last year in London and talking about my favorite subjects, heart intelligence. I also included a little technique the quick coherence technique, which everyone enjoyed because everyone was kind of, calming down and relaxing. So this is always what I integrate in my presentations. Last year, my presentation is also available on LinkedIn as an article, by the way.
Sure.
And really, as I said, people want to know about themselves. So when you address these subjects to them, this is how your heart works and this is what's available to you. People are always very interested and eager to know because it concerns them, and it a way thing with them that brings them on a journey to know myself. Always what I experience when I talk about these subjects also in public. And this in Dubai, I prepared a presentation which is now also available as an article on the London Intercultural Academy. But we decided with Dr. Hala, people they are so filled with information, and there's only that much a human brain can absorb. So we said, okay, we are not going any further presentation. Can't you just do a meditation? And this is what we did at the end of the conference, and calming everyone down, and people enjoyed it just to, get everything in reach. And this is what we did this year in Dubai, and people enjoyed it. And I'm ever so happy to give this little input just to bring a bit joy and experience like this to people. So this is what we did this year in Dubai. And let's see what we do next year and where we will be. Probably a healthy combination of both. Yeah, so I'm over to that.
How do your services differ between one-on-one team sessions and self-paced online?
When it comes to coaching modalities, probably coach and teacher, you probably start with a one-on-one session first. Sometimes when you go on this journey, you already had your fair share of kitchen table counseling, probably, which we all did. Where what I enjoy, I absolutely love being in one room with a client and exchanging everything, to put everything on the table and then putting everything in order and giving some hope, opening doors, giving solutions, giving tools. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so what the one-on-one sessions are always perfect for, and they are irreplaceable in order to kind of go on or send a client or person or friend or whatever on a self-development journey. Now, when it's to resilience building, this a proper training. This takes a training a bit of on a daily basis. You cannot do this once a month or so. And of course, you cannot have one-on-one sessions on a daily basis. Yeah, it just wouldn't work out. So this is where online training comes in. And I'm ever so grateful that I can now refer the clients to the online course available at the London Intercultural Academy, where they get a very simple, very efficient kind of array of tools, of background information they can easily work on. So there is a perfect combination of one-on-one sessions, stress and assessment probably to start with, and then sending the clients off to explore their own tools and to be on some kind of a regular training to get results, basically. Yeah, because I always tell them I'm not Harry Potter. I'm the facilitator. I've got the tools and the answers probably, but everyone has to do the work for himself or herself. And for team training and work team, it can be a family. Everyone needs to do the inner work first and foremost. Can add on elements where the whole team or the family comes together, and we do some kind of what I call sessions for coherent communication on how to integrate what you learned for yourself for a better communication within the family or the work team. And we have beautiful tools ready, which can be applied also for teamwork. Because sometimes, when you're in a group of people, they are all on a different frequency. One is happy, one is not so happy, one is with a mind elsewhere. And this is difficult sometimes to create common ground. With these communication techniques, we also have, for example, the HeartMath Institute. It's easy to get on the same wavelength, so to speak. And this is a beautiful add-on for teams as well, which we offer. Collaboration is, and I'm ever so grateful to Hardy and the team. They offered me last year in London to create an online course, and I was ever so happy to contribute something like this to the growing academy, to the growing platform. It took a few months, but it was something I really enjoyed, and now it is available, and I'm ever so grateful to be able to present really simple course through this powerful platform. Actually, now 2 courses available. It's the wellbeing assessment, then the easy paced, self-paced online course, and there's also a combination of both, which is quite sensible to do, and been an absolute beautiful collaboration. It's very calm and very Hardy has been ever so helpful to get everything running, and I'm really grateful for this beautiful collaboration. It will probably only be the first course. We are already working on the second one. I'm ever so grateful that I am able to actually offer these courses through this growing platform. It's very blessed to have this opportunity, and the cooperation is really beautiful and probably will extend in the future as well. So thank you for that.
How do you envision the future of online learning and coaching in the field of human empowerment?
Go into well-being, and as it's all about empowerment, self-empowerment. And I believe, Tim, that we are actually on a road where people really will choose learning. I mean, you are probably a constant learner. Could we without learning new things? Probably not. Yeah. Of course, we all need some kind of basic, we all need to learn to read and write, and it probably will not replace academic education when you want to become a doctor or an architect or a lawyer or something like this. But when you have something you are passionate for, and you say, okay, this is my life purpose, and this is what I want to learn in life, what I want to exercise for myself and also for the service of others, I believe that more and more people intentionally will look for learning experiences. Where can I learn this particular thing, which is probably still missing, where I have room for improvement? And if online learning already is available and will extend to probably the quality that people will like, for example, the London Intercultural Academy. And I think this is the idea behind it, that you go onto a platform, one go-to form where you give in your keywords in any kind of field you want to improve yourself with, be it well-being, be it AI, or whatever field. You give in your keywords, and then let's say a whole field of possibilities is opening up. Yeah, it's now that we have huge possibilities opening for learning, and for learning something really in particular, for choosing what we want to learn. And more will exactly know, this is missing, this is what I want to learn. And this is, for example, also what the London Intercultural Academy is all about. They have a growing number of courses of any kind. So this is something, I think this is something very valuable for the future. And this is where people can go onto a learning experience. They choose what they want to learn, and they can learn from anywhere in the world. And also, it's a very affordable learning experience. This is also important, that you have something you can do on your own pace, and that's all affordable.
Thank you so much. I've had a really enjoyable podcast with you, really learnt a lot, and definitely looking forward to doing future podcasts.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.